we can, at the end of everything, we'll have everybody. Everybody's here, but we want to be on time. Okay? So we have 2 people as part of the fireside chat, and I'm here to introduce them. I have Lina Ashar first. Lina is a visionary educator.
Don't read all that. Hi everyone, I'm Lina.
She has founded Kangaroo Kids and Billabong High Schools, revolutionizing education with a learner-centric approach. With over 30 years of experience, she has established partnerships across India, Dubai, and the Maldives. Her latest venture, Dreamtime Leraning, aims to provide quality education at affordable prices, fostering empowered leaders. Lina's innovative efforts have transformed traditional learning, promoting experiential education and holistic development. Thank you, Lina, for being here. Our next, globalization, brand building, startups and business best practices. He has experience in well-known multinationals as well as boutiques firms in UK, Germany, UAE, and India. Prior to this, he was associated with Jaipuria Institute of Management as Assistant Dean and Professor, a graduate in management from Kanak School of Management, Purdue University, USA. He is also a co-founder of Theatre Shein, one of the most prolific theatre and cinema groups in Kolkata and Mumbai. What an interesting pair to take us through an interesting topic, what ails teacher training. So, and involve the audience if you wish.
And just 20 seconds before that. So this is the QR code and the link for feedback on all the sessions in this track. So right, for the previous session, Subhiji session, as well as this one, you'll get options, and that's where we also recommended using audio pen. If you want to, you can just record your feedback and then copy paste that into the form and you'll be done.
Super, thank you so much Aditi ma'am, thank you so much Anand for starting us off sir, the presentation was outstanding. We would look forward to having a copy of it. Ladies and gentlemen, I have Lina Ashar with me and I'm so excited to be talking to her. Fireside chat, we will create the fire is what she said, and I'm very, very excited. Lina, I'm going to jump right into it. No nonsense whatsoever. Training is, and I'm going to play the devil's advocate quite a lot in the next 25 minutes that you and I are going to talk. Training is for teachers like you and me to go to nice fancy hotels, spend 2 days away from the annoying kids in the class. I don't have to listen to Aditi ma'am to fill out the teacher assessment form, etc. I get to have samosa, I get to have nice paneer, dal makhani, and I come back with a certificate so that I can apply somewhere else. I can apply to Gunmeet ma'am that, you know, I've done a training now I have a better job opportunity. What do you think?
So what ails teacher training is what ails student training, learner training, is that everything seems to be forced from the outside. Right? We need that grade, we need that certificate to go out and prove who we are, to validate ourselves to ourselves and to the rest of the world. If we could flip all of that, if we could firstly take teacher training as it exists from the B.Ed course to what we're actually doing in schools and shift it completely to actually understanding behavioral science, neuroscience, and putting that into a context of understanding that if I have this human being who's a teacher in front of me, or I've got this learner in front of me, they've got different interests, they've got different drivers, they've got different values, and how can I speak and train to that? I disagree with something that was said earlier, that teachers only have a 3-minute attention window online. It's the same teacher who can watch a Netflix Kyunke Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi for a whole Sunday. So why is it not that teacher training and learner training is made so engaging, so exciting, that it motivates us, it captures us, that we use the science of gaming, we use the science of entertainment, and we infuse that in both learner training and teacher training. And then I absolutely believe that teachers can be glued. Another thing is that we're here, we're getting some form of significance with, you know, everyone's listening to us. It's so cool. We've got our photograph on something, and then, you know, we've read our names out with some fancy introduction and all that. Where's the significance for teachers in schools? I mean, you come in as a teacher, after that what? I've got people who've worked with me for 30 years, but every 2 years you enter as a teacher, after 2 years you have to be someone else. Where is the growth trajectory for teachers? If you tell a teacher that by this micro education of online learning, and you absolutely master it, and you perform your understanding, you don't pass a test, but there's a performance of understanding that you do, that you've mastered this. From becoming a teacher, you can go in various fields of growth. It could be a coordinator, it could be an administrator, and my vision from a principal might, maybe one day I become from a teacher to a principal. Where is that? And where is that internal drive to learn? I went back to Australia to my college, and I asked the professors, I said, you know, I'm working with some 200 schools, and my principals are all doctors and PhDs and all that, and I've only done my B.Ed. I think I should come back and do all of this. And he said, why? Do you need that badge? Do you need that validation? Isn't your work validation itself?
Are we actually hinting at it, from what I'm gathering from you? By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if something that you would like to come in on, please feel free to. We'd like to make it more interactive. Please feel free to do that. Lina, what you're saying is that probably degrees do not equate to good engagement in the classroom, or degree does not equate to a good teacher always? Or is that a mandate that we need?
I'm seeing a very near future, 5 years from now, and if one thing I've done is somehow as a conduit to see the future, B.Eds will be completely different. Degrees will be completely different. We're already moving to a credit system for everything.
So is an archaic B.Ed system actually ailing teacher training and development then?
Sorry?
An archaic, old-fashioned B.Ed system, is it actually stopping the growth of our schools, of our societies?
Absolutely. Why do I need to be a content master? I do a 1-hour session with my nephew in Australia through the curriculum that we've got at Dreamtime Leraning, and I'm doing it on sound because he's very interested in music. He's a pianist and he plays the guitar and stuff. And we came to something and we were talking about sound and how it's caused by vibrations, etc., and then how different musical instruments vibrate differently. And he asked me, Lina Masi, is the piano a percussion instrument or a string instrument? Because I hit the keys, but there's strings behind. And I just threw up Google, ChatGPT, and I said, I actually don't know. Let's figure it out. It's great if we get to the stage where kids don't have to know anything. They can be driven by the curiosity and go where they want to go. And the same with teachers. How much, we say experiential learning, active-based learning. And then when we do teacher training, we stand in front with a book or, text, and we expect it to be a one-way flow of information for them. I think we've just got to walk the talk as educators. What we want for kids, we want for our teachers.
You said what we want for our kids, we want for our teachers, but again I'm playing the devil's advocate on this. Lina ji, NEP में लिखा हुआ है कि 50 घंटे की training होनी चाहिए. In my school, I'm doing 100 hours of training for my teachers. So how are you sitting in a very fancy conference at ScooNews talking about that teacher training is being aided through old systems, whatever? I'm doing so much new things. I'm doing, for my teachers' growth and development, I'm doing Zumba lessons. For my teachers' motivation, I'm taking them out for picnics. So how are you saying that teacher training is ailing? I think Anand and Aditi ma'am have gotten it wrong. There is nothing that is ailing in the system.
I didn't say the system is okay right now. I'm saying bring in everything that attracts us to games, anything that attracts us to anything, bring in those elements into your teacher training. I'm not saying don't do teacher training. I'm not saying, and what you're talking about is building of communities. You didn't mention once that I'm teaching them pedagogy. You're taking them for Zumba, you're taking them for picnics. You're building communities. Yeah, you're building connection. That's what we want for our kids and for our teachers. Go for 50 hours of picnics. Go for 50 hours of Zumbas. Go for anything. I mean, that's not training as per the official.
Right.
Yeah. So we are then shifting terminology of what we mean.
So, training then, from what I'm gathering from you, we define it more on the pedagogical aspect, but also on the self-development growth aspect of a teacher as a person?
If a teacher is going to get something out of a training, so if I'm training online, I call them curiosity and excitement architects, the ones who do the instructional design, or the cheerleaders. I don't even call them teachers. Why can't they be cheerleaders? Because teachers have got a different connotation in our head. We don't call them principals, because all these connotations have, over a period of time, built up cultural contexts in which kids are subservient, and teachers and the system is the leader, is the master. What was your question? Sorry.
So I asked you that, would you like to define then that training is pedagogical, self-development of the teacher?
So why can't it be a self-developed learning pathway? So you give a teacher a portfolio and say, this is where you are. This is what you've done in the past. Where do you want to go? This is where you want to go. Where are the gaps between where you are and where you want to go? And I'm going to hold your hand and take you there. So what does it mean for us to do? And you know what? We don't even have to invest that much money, because learning is available online for free. You want to learn about engagement, it's online for free. You want to learn about behavioral science, neuroscience, there's so much of it online for free, and there's so much we can do using AI to turn those videos into learning modules.
Can I throw in a question?
Yeah.
What is the basic foundation that we seem to be missing for teacher training?
Basic foundation?
Irrespective of
I love kids. That's my basic foundation. When I started the first Kangaroo Kids and teachers used to come in to do demo sessions, I'm never looking at the teacher. I'm looking at the kids. Are my kids' eyes lit? Are they engaged? Are they looking deeply? Are they seeming excited by what's about to happen? Hire the teacher. Gone are the days when teachers need to be masters in science, in maths, or in anything else, because technology is a powerful tool we can use in the classroom. What teachers need to become, they need to become motivational experts, so they need to understand the behavioral science of motivation and engagement. They need to understand the science of the brain. How does the brain best learn? The brain best doesn't learn if I'm starting my thing with, I'm going to talk to you about teacher training. It starts with a question that deeply engages the emotional center of your brain.
So, if I could add on to it.
I want to just add one more thing there. It gets triggered when you say, in the whole teaching fraternity and the leadership, are we oversimplifying or oversimply using the fact that they don't need to be academically good or know the subject? I'm not saying academically, the teacher needs to know the subject, whatever that is, the point of MSc, BSc degree. I mean, are we as teacher leaders oversimplifying this fact and eventually ending up, putting the learner, whether it is the teacher or the student learner, away from really going deep into the content? As Subhashikla sir was saying, we have lost the art of reading long texts. So are we somehow, by oversimplifying this whole learning, are we going away from going deep into the content itself? Or do you think? I mean, that's a... Sure.
So I'm not saying that we don't go deep into content, right? The mastery is at the back-end design of what you're going to do. So give you an example of, we want to teach, so what we built is accelerated learning as well as enhanced learning. So where we are getting kids to understand about their brains, and you can't teach empathy from a textbook. So how do you teach empathy? You do things like, okay, we're going to talk about global warming, we're going to talk about carbon footprints, etc., and we're going to say, who leaves a larger carbon footprint, a vegetarian and non-vegetarian, right? And based on that, if you're vegetarian, now you've got a rubric for arguing from a non-vegetarian perspective, and that's all the resources you're given, and vice versa. So it's in the arrangement of the design of the learning experience that the teacher or the child will have. Now that when the kids come back and argue from the opposite perspective, because the rubric's about argument, it's not about content. And they come back and they argue, you've created empathy, because now they have to walk in somebody else's shoes. We talk about collaboration. At the end of that, they actually sit in a room together, and vegetarians and non-vegetarians get together, and they say, how do we create a more just world in which a non-vegetarian offsets his carbon footprint in a way that's fair to the vegetarian? Right? So that becomes collaborative learning. So I'm not saying, and that's deep. It's way deeper than saying, hey, this is how you leave a carbon footprint, and through a textbook. The same goes for teachers. There's phenomenal ways in which, and you know, you actually deepen your learning when you teach. You know, we've got 4 stages of learning, like when you're driving a car. First is when you're consciously incompetent. You know you don't know this, right? Then I get into a car. Now I'm starting to learn how to drive the car. Now I start becoming consciously competent. Then I move to becoming unconsciously competent, where I don't have to think about driving the car, right? That's today. Today, if I can speak without the aid of any notes or anything, I've come to a stage where I've spoken so much, right? Why are we not giving teachers and kids the opportunity? If you tell teachers, this is the training, you go off in a group of 4, you create this training, I'm only going to be your coach, right? And we do a training always. Anything that we do is why, how, and what. Why are we doing this training has to become your hook. Yeah. How are we going to do this training? So what is the process we're going to follow? How are we going to do engagement? Is it going to be like this group activity where kids go off into cohorts? And then what actually will the kids or the teachers go away with? And you become the coach for your teachers, and let your teachers create the training and come in. And when they actually teach, 2 things happen. They ingrain it into their minds as a belief, and they come up, and when they teach it, they start becoming unconsciously competent. They don't have to think about consciously what they're doing, and then they take that into the classrooms.
Sure. I'll add on to it. So the problem is not oversimplifying of it. I think the problem is that now we are moving towards normalization of it. Now what happened, like this is my personal belief, and you know, it's backed by some research. I'd be happy to share with all of you at any point of time. The last great generation was actually the World War II era generation in the 1950s, 60s, which was the learning generation, where we were trying to do a lot of learning as adults. And after that, the way our schools have been structured, it has been more transactional than anything else, where we've focused on marks, where we focused on giving similar set of skill sets to all the students, similar kind of subjects, similar kind of pedagogical involvement as well. I think there, the normalization is required now, because the world has progressed. We are looking at a future that honestly we don't know. So ma'am, coming back to your question or comment as well. What is the basis, what is the genesis of it? It has to be the child at the center of it, giving them skills which are not just relevant to the text but beyond. It has to be world skills, 21st century skills that we talk about. Those are the more relevant things, be it the decision-making skills, be it agility, be it collaboration, teamwork, leadership, communication. This is what, and our teachers, sir, are trained in the 70s, 80s, 90s. With all due respect, we did not have the worldview that we probably have about these things today.
Can I ask you?
Let's keep the child, the teacher in the center, because there's so much of, I really overwhelmed by the point that Seth told about 2 studies. I really want to read it. Imagine just talking to teachers, they create such a because they're at the center.
I'm asking us to go from our head to our heart in our research papers. Yeah. Intuitively, as teachers, we know what works. Why do we not go to our gut? Why do we not go to our intuition? Why do we have to rely on data and research papers? We know. I'm going to ask you a question. You were at the Goa conference, so please do answer. We went from farmers. What do we teach our kids? How to farm. What was the currency? Fruit and vegetables. We went to an industrial economy. What were the products? Efficiency. The more efficient we were, the better our currency was. In this creator economy, what is the currency?
I think fundamental principles is the currency. We can't just go back.
I'm asking you a question. In this creator economy, what is the currency? The currency are ideas. The currency is actually attention. Whoever gets your attention gets the money. That is the currency.
And I think in the social enterprise world, there is enough not only to necessarily talk about money, but the point is, are we talking on the fundamental principles?
I'm not talking about money. I'm saying what is the currency? The currency today is attention. Whether it's social media, it's Netflix or anyone else, they are measuring the matrix only by attention. Why are we not measuring the matrix of attention of our teachers? Are we brave enough? I do it. We've got a hub in Hyderabad and in our online school. At the end of every session, the kids rate two things. They rate the content, so the engagement. Was it an exciting session? Was it engaging enough? And the second is they rate the teacher's ability to give them a transformational experience. Did they feel that? Did they go away feeling, wow? And that's all. Because I'll tell you something, my first TEDx talk I did is, are you smarter than a fifth grader? And there's only two people who are smarter than fifth graders, and they were the advocates of No Child Left Behind. So they mugged everything to do with every single grade. Sitting here today, if a fifth grader was to ask us questions related to fifth grade, it's in our short-term memory, in and out. The same with teacher training, in our short-term memory, in and out. How do we make it a deeply immersive experience, transformational, so that the teacher walks out of there not just with, oh wow, I can do this with my kids and now I understand that every thought I think is so powerful. And when I give that ability for my children to know that every thought they think alters the structure of their brain, now they're intentionally going to think their thoughts, and I'm intentionally going to think my thoughts about the students in my classroom, about the language I use. So I say we need to shift from a content-based teacher training to a neuroscience, behavioral science-based, because content is available. Now, how do you use that content in a way that excites, engages, motivates? That's the purpose.
Lina, I'm going to ask a question to you that, again, I'm playing the devil's advocate. Are we not then putting too much pressure on the teacher to be a learner herself when she has so many things to do, or he has so many tasks sort of to do? Is that what is ailing, to answer Anand's question right up top?
Today you have great tools to take away those tasks.
One more provocative question. Do you think teacher training actually helps? I've seen some teachers going for training after training after training and staying where they are.
It helps collect, Lina, it helps collect degrees, right?
Only if it's a transformational process. If it's a transformational process, I think I got the idea of what I wanted to do when I went to Anthony Robbins. Anthony Robbins is a teacher, coach. Based on our Vedas, he gets people, thousands of people in a room, and he gets them to pay $10,000 each. $10,000 each for 3 days. Yeah. And in those 3 days, a lot of people come away not transformed, but those who deeply immerse themselves in the science, the neuroscience of what he does, he keeps the room freezing cold. He starts your day at 8 o'clock in the morning and he finishes, does not leave you till 1 in the morning. Your conscious brain has shut down. Now he's feeding your subconscious. He's feeding your subconscious. And while he's feeding your subconscious, he uses the art of visualization. And then you create your goal sets. And you may say it's a coincidence. I did an Anthony Robbins. My goal was to be approached and publish a book. I came back, Random House Penguin called me up and said, would you author a book for us? Coincidence? Maybe. Anthony Robbins, power of visualization? Maybe.
Outstanding. I think Sir has a question, and I think Anand's going to tell me 3 minutes left.
I have a question to everyone in the room. how many of your students want to become teacher?
A lot of them.
Well, I mean, I don't hear much.
Sir, I think the right answer to that question is at what stage are you asking the child?
Any stage for that matter. Probably early years, I mean, the primary school children may be, expressing that they want to become teachers, but when they reach, let me complete question.
The TFIs are good examples that some very good children are going there to be teachers. I think
Right.
So the new generation wants purpose.
Let me complete what I was trying to say.
The new generation wants meaning and purpose, and they want to make a difference.
Well,
And,
in the morning.
sorry?
my point is not that one. My point is that when the students do not want to become teachers, the teachers we get are not real teachers. They are accidental teachers. They have tried their, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not generalizing it. They tried their hands in every other thing. They didn't succeed. Finally, they think that teaching is the best thing. We have a lot of leave here. Vacation is available, so we want to become teacher.
If we change what we're doing in our classrooms, if we engage and excite our kids, then our kids will want to become teachers and make a difference as well.
Sir, actually, I agree with Lina.
That is, I mean, those who are passionate enough will do that one. But the current scenario I'm talking about, because when I was interviewing teachers, I asked them, what do you do? I mean, what are you doing these days? I'm studying for BA. Then how can you come here? Don't you have to go to college? That is not necessary. I'll go for the examination.
So the classrooms have to be more exciting today. Otherwise, we'll keep probably in that system where teaching is not an exciting proposition.
It's not that, sir. My point is that we are having teachers who are not motivated, who are not enough.
That's what we're saying.
So we've identified that problem.
Let's break the cycle, guys. Let's break the cycle.
I think ma'am had a question back there. Yes, ma'am. Last minute, last question, ma'am.
At the cost of being repetitive, I think our best minds don't come to teaching because of a very, very simple equation with money. Even now, teaching profession, the best minds that we have, I'm being a little personal here,
Sure.
I'm talking about I have a very bright son who is a very, very good teacher, but who absolutely refuses to consider that a profession simply because he wants a Wimbledon front seat ticket which a teaching job would never give him.
If you can show him a path from being a teacher to being anything that he wants to be, that is where then you're saying, okay, this is where you are, but this is the vision of where you can be. And this is the steps to get there. Then the motivation to learn, to be better is an internal one. Then you don't have to mandate 50 hours of training. Teachers are, Monday to Friday, I've started a startup at the age of 60. So Monday to Friday, I'm doing like almost 15 hours of work a day. On Saturday and Sunday, it's a full day Saturday and half day Sunday, I'm only reading neuroscience research papers, behavioral science research papers, and working out how to apply them to the next week's work I will do. Nobody tells me I need to do it. I have financial security, I've done my status and significance bit. I do it because I'm deeply interested. That is the core. Can we get teachers deeply interested and show them the vision of who they can be by virtue of being self-driven to learn?
And probably, ma'am,
May I respond to that, please? Just
ma'am, I think you're running.
30
Anand
seconds.
shown me the finger. Yeah, many times now. But
Which finger is important? Which finger did you show? Humor, we've taken humor out of our classrooms as well.
So, but ma'am, you would see, I think these are the stories that need to go out. There are a lot of CEOs who are coming back to the classroom no longer to tell stories, but to teach, which is a great thing. They understand that, you can not only bring your experience on the stories, but also the good teachers are coming back. And ladies and gentlemen, that's what we need to make sure that we as responsible education leaders go back and make sure that our teachers get this message, that the future is not going to be what was previously, where it was ailed by poor salaries or poor growth development or seeped in content, but beyond. I think that's what we are looking forward to as a future. My takeaway is that, we need to free our minds. Stealing from the matrix, we need to free our minds and make sure that, it's not just about trying to bend the spoon, but realize that there is no spoon. If you want to talk about that more, I'd be happy to discuss the matrix. Lina, any last words?
I think when you read the NEP, it talks about bringing in the community. So retired people, people who are working in corporates, come in the morning, teach
Absolutely.
Go to office. Come early, come take a lunch break off. They love it. We've got it going in the school. It's really working.
It also talks about hiring grade 10 teachers, grade 10 past students, and give them 6 months training to become pre-primary teachers. Then how will they become good teachers? How will those students become good learners?
They'll be excellent.
We have to go from the, let's take this during lunchtime, but let's go from the problem to finding a solution together.
There's as many fingers Anand can show me, and I think that's absolutely wonderful. Anand, thank you so much. I think, ma'am, thank you so much. Lina, you were wonderful. Thank you.